You already started. Wow. Hi guys. Welcome to another episode of the Cordial Podcast. And finally, guys, finally. Let me tell you, when I say finally, I'm really happy. You can see it in my face. But anyway, finally we have guests, and not just one, but two, and not just any normal human beings, but also yappers. So I'm really happy to be hosting two guests of other podcasts that I listen to. Funny enough, in this world, you just meet up with people, and then over 1 year, you just decide, we are all podcasters. Okay, then we continue. But anyway, I'd like to welcome Nadel Kavochi of Just Figuring Out podcast. Yeah, Duru, apigie makofi na mayowe. And then, of course, the lovely stories za jaba, ngoja. Unajua unaweza sema vitu alafu anyway. Of course, our other guest is from a Walk with God podcast that I actually featured into hiyo lazima niseme. Ndio mwende msikilize hiyo episode. Maureen, what's your second name? I don't know you. Okay, you guys, sorry. Take 1, take 2, take 3. Mollie.
Hi guys.
Hi. Karibu. Which one did you want us to use? Mollie. Why? Are you who did you No, you didn't forgive your mother for giving you that name. Anyway, in other news, ladies and gentlemen, this is the third episode of the topic forgiveness, and it has been covered from the first episode, which was covered by Nadel Kavochi. The links are on our bios. And then our second part was handled by Mollie, because we serikali haifai kuwa hapa in between us. And then now our third, of course, with me, the Cordial Podcast, Kang'ong'oi. And I think if you've listened to episode 1 and 2, you've actually realized how in depth we've gone through forgiveness and understanding it from our normal basic lives and from the Christian worldview. And for me, it's basically just concluding that topic of forgiveness, but mine's more from a society point of view and looking at it from how do we resolve people and having conversations about forgiveness and people actually taking it serious as it's supposed to be. So I'm going to just cover a few basic questions, and then we will go straight into the other subtopics. Number one, so to you guys, what are the biggest obstacles to forgiveness in our society? Not you alone, in our society. Take a breath, think it over. Yo. Uh-huh.
I'm just trying to analyze what
Yeah.
is the impact.
The biggest obstacles that we have to forgiveness in our society. Like what are the obstacles that make societies not forgive each other? It comes, of course, from individual basis, but as a society, why don't we uphold forgiveness
I
as a
think
virtue?
one, not just seems
Wow.
disclaimer, just
Yeah.
But I think with us, the Gen Zs,
Yeah.
we have that cut off culture.
Yeah.
We're like, guys stepped on my jacket. I'm cutting him off.
That's it.
I'm cutting him off.
25th of December, done.
I can't deal with his drama. He's dramatic.
Okay. Cutting
so
off.
I think the cut off culture is too strong. And
Yeah.
we don't get to extend.
Yeah.
We don't get to extend grace to people. Extend grace to people.
Yeah. Okay. So the cut off culture.
Extend
Grace.
International.
I think I'd say it comes. Oh, my goodness. One, I think people are not in touch with themselves. I think we live in such. We are grateful that within this up and coming generation, I think with our parents, it wasn't as much. The generation of our parents was not in tune with their emotions.
Yeah.
So you'd find that in as much as there's forgiveness, like forgiveness was not a concept for them because they weren't in tune with their emotions, they didn't have such conversations or such forums. It was just like, we're watching upon Bible, or just accept things as they are. But what that does is it builds this cycle of resentment.
Yeah.
And so with us growing up, you tend to see like, oh my goodness, my mom endured so much from my dad or from family, and it made them like quote unquote doormat. Yeah. And so for us, we just like, I do not want a repeat of that cycle. So where when someone wrongs you at the first goal, you just out. Yeah. Because I think it's just that when something affects one generation and it's not handled at the root, it just bears really trashy and that gets us now where we are. So you find that even people right now, there's those that okay, there's two sides to the coin. Yeah. There's those that will be like mtu amenikosea first sign I'm out, and then there's those that like, hey, why is this such a big deal? Why is this such a big, like, relax, you're doing too much, da 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 da. So I think forgiveness has been so lost. It's not even something, it's not even a concept.
Yeah. 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 Well, good answers. I think mine comes from a culminating point of view because it's. I gave my answer when I was writing down what I was going to talk about as individuality. Like there's so much being sold out here of people just being themselves. Like having that culture of self. Everything that you think of is just me. How do I feel about these things? Do I feel like I want to cut you off? Yes, because that's what I feel. Sorry. So I think for me, with that culture of people getting into individuality a lot, then it becomes what I feel is what is paramount. Then if the other person does the same thing, then there's no resolution between you guys, and there's no even warmth of just having common decency with people. So whatever you feel, if you feel like walking away, you'll just walk away without minding what the other person feels. And I think for me, that is really destroying the fabric of just basic humanity, whereby we are slowly and slowly just creating a world where we will be so blunt and so blank and blunt, because you'll be like, that's what I feel, that's what I'll do. I don't care what you're doing. In any case, it can be at work, it can be at home, even with family and friends. So yeah, so thank you for that. Our next question is, how do you think we can cultivate a culture of forgiveness? How do you think?
Yo, again.
Yo.
Yo.
Hizi ni maswali za Jesma 006.
Yo.
Yeah.
So how can we cultivate a culture? So I think one with what you said, the individuality or the selfishness and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I think we should have a culture whereby it's just not about me, myself, and I.
Yeah.
We get to accommodate others, extend grace to others.
Yeah.
So I think that as long as this is how you feel, you should do.
Yeah.
You should think about the rest.
Yeah.
Like be
Yeah.
mindful of what
Yeah.
your actions has to the next person. So I would say breaking that cycle of
Exactly. Yeah.
individuality.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing, but it has pros and cons
Yeah.
towards it.
Yeah.
Hiyo swali kidogo.
How should we create a culture of forgiveness in our society?
Hmm.
How do you think we can cultivate it? Like,
I think it starts with you and me.
yeah.
It starts with you and me. It starts with planting a seed. It starts with environment in so let's have a conversation. Let's, let's
Yeah.
plant a seed in you. Then when you meet her, then when she offends you, you remember what happened between you and me, and you continue that. So I think it's planting those seeds of forgiveness, because just plant those seeds of forgiveness within your community, within your spaces. Do not be afraid to be the one to initiate those conversations, because at the end of the day, they are needed. So yeah, just initiate those conversations and it will do something somewhere.
Okay. Okay. Nice answers. From my end, I think it will be more of just understanding that we are all humans and we can't be perfect, and whatever you say will not be the only thing that goes, and just letting things be as you want to be. And also that also comes from the basic understanding that I think all these things might be solved if people took the quote unquote religion seriously, because I think all religions cover all these things of us enhancing society from a point of you and me trying to understand you. Yeah, so when you talk about even the Quran or the Bible or any other aspect of life when it comes to religion, I think they all talk about society being one and not really wanting it to be from an individual point of view. It's fine. As we were saying, so basically, if we took our religions seriously, I think that will be a good step towards, creating a better culture of forgiveness in our society. So, of course, in our other episodes, we've talked about the definition of, forgiveness, and there's really some aspects to it when it comes to it being important to, of course, first our individual self, where it gives you some easiness of living life every single day, of letting go of things and not culminating things inside you and letting things, cramp up and then they explode one day and you're here crying out of how people are bad and you hate humans. And then there's the aspect of social healing, where basically, when everybody takes up forgiveness as a culture, then our whole society will be at a better place. When we talk about our parents, how they lived their life and how they don't think it's good to actually apologize to their children, which I find really funny. Like, them taking accountability and just saying sorry is such a big thing. But to me, I'm like, I hope if we ever become parents, well, I want to become a parent, where I'll able to be open enough to have such conversations with my kids. Do you think you guys will be open to such conversations?
That's actually a question I wanted to ask as a parent.
Yeah.
Do you want to say sorry to somebody who's under your roof, who's the survival of that child depends on you, and you want to say sorry?
Yeah. Because it makes them a better human.
No,
whereby
in what particular aspect are you saying sorry? That you've wronged the kid?
Yeah. See that you want to tell me there are no times where you've had an issue with your parent and you can clearly see that you're not the issue.
Mbona niseme sorry? Mbona niseme sorry?
So you can't. You will continue with that.
No, I think it's just wild as a parent. I'm just trying to picture myself as a parent that I'm telling my kid sorry.
I think I will. Mollie, will you?
I think take away the fact that this is your child and look at it from the aspect of this is another human being. Because I'm looking at it this way, right? God entrusted this seed to you for you to nurture this person. Because at the end of the day, yes, they're your child, but out there, they're Nadel, they're Mungai, they are a human being. So it's remove the label of this is my child, they're beneath me, they depend on me, and look at it as this is another human being. God has entrusted this human being into my care. So how best can I nurture this human being to survive in the world? Because if I'm not teaching you how to apologize, how to say sorry, because kids copy what they see. So if at home you're taught that, apologize and say sorry, regardless of your age, regardless of who you are, it carries over to how they venture into life. So I think remove that this is your child, they're beneath you, and just look at them as another individual.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Have you heard?
No, I'm still battling.
Why? Why? Like, you actually tell.
I'm just battling the concept.
So you don't see yourself as a parent saying sorry. Like, let's say you accused your daughter of something and you find out it's not her, it was probably the first daughter or the third daughter.
No, that's different. That I can say sorry.
Thank you.
But so I'm just trying to look at a particular aspect where okay, yeah, I'm on the wrong. Yes, I'm on the wrong. But atinarudi kusema sorry.
You need to heal. You need to heal.
I'm just being honest. Just being honest.
You don't see yourself saying so. You'll just let it go. Like, I understand there's that basic bit of kiburi.
I'm also trying to ensure that, because I know there's that balance of being a parent and being a friend, and I don't want to be more of a friend than a parent. I don't know if you guys get what I'm
getting.
Are you afraid that by apologizing, your kids will respect you less and see you as weak?
Umegonga ndipo.
Or inakujia wapi?
Sisikio maneno. So that I think I might be going to that direction with whatever I'm saying, because okay, yes, I do want to have that good rapport, but I also do not want to be too friendly until I forget that I'm a parent.
It makes sense, but don't you think now that brings in the beauty of having a two-parent household, whereby if it is you on the wrong, like the child might get the temptation of respecting you less, but that's where the father comes in, where if he notices that the child is respecting you less, then he talks about that and he's like, no, you're not supposed to do this, you're not supposed to do it. Don't you think that's a much better way of handling things?
No.
Ama, you guys don't like fathers? What?
I don't know that. I don't know that. So I don't know. Okay, guys, I don't know. Can't relate.
I am so sorry, but you have God.
But the thing that I'm most curious about is what aspect of saying sorry makes your kids not respect you? Because I'm thinking how I'm thinking. No, let me put it this way, right? Say I have a firstborn daughter and then I have a son. And I come home, I can't maybe find my keys or something. And I'm there, I'm yelling, I'm doing all the things, yada, yada, yada. And then I go into my room, or maybe dad walks in and dad has it. All of us have seen that dad has it. So how will me saying, by the guys, I found dad had... Yeah, I'm so sorry that I blew it out of proportion. I clearly made a wrong judgment here. Like, what aspect of that makes your child respect you less?
I think for me, if I can try to understand her, it's the basic humanity where if you're from the Christian religion, like you understand that you're born with sin. So the first thought that will come into your mind is like, well, this guy is actually talking to me like this, then we are actually equals. But then that's why I was bringing in the aspect of two parents, because they will see from another perspective that, this happened last time and this guy is handling this situation right now very differently. Then you can...
Let me now put it this way. Yeah. Don't you think there are very many reasons that can contribute to your children respecting you or not, that do not even include forgiveness? Say if you're a drunkard, the least of your worries should be apologizing to your kids. If you make terrible financial decisions, the least of your worries should be... I feel like there are very many ways that you can earn your kids' respect or lose it, that apologizing is not even in the equation for me. So I'm trying to understand you both, and I'm looking at, there's so many ways to lose my respect, there's so many ways to gain my respect, that apologizing is not.
No, but you see now, it's because our topic is forgiveness, so we are handling it from that particular aspect of if there is conflict. Ama namna gani, Madam Kiburi? You're still up with it.
I think why I'm struggling to get whatever Mollie is saying is basically maybe how majority of us have grown up, like the illustration you're giving, like everyone has seen you on the wrong, but sorry, I'll just keep quiet and talk to you guys nicely.
No, you'll buy them ringos and wow-wows. Instead of actually... But if you can actually do that, why then does wording it out become different?
I don't know. I think it's just a problem that is there.
Move away from such.
Okay. Let me ask you, do you apologize to your friends, your colleagues? Is it easier for you to say sorry to other people, and is the line drawn to your children, or do you just have a problem apologizing?
No, that's a good question. I don't have a problem apologizing with friends, but I think where I'll get to have a problem is where I don't understand, or where we don't get an agreement. You don't understand my feeling, like I had the right to be wrong in that particular moment. In such particular instance, I'll have trouble, forgiving and just coming to an understanding. But with mutual conversations, I think it's pretty easy to forgive. Yeah.
So do you think you can forgive your children?
I'm still pondering on that.
You're still... Hey, we'll ask you at the end of this if you actually made a turnaround. Yeah, because why would you want to continue with what your parents... See, we're supposed to be better. Like we pride ourselves, Gen Z, as the knowledgeable guys and the people who want to move away from our childhood trauma. You don't think you can move away from it? Or that's just one aspect that you just can't?
That's just one aspect that I want to understand before I move away from it.
Okay, but please just buy them ice cream. At least that's a good step forward than letting. Why you bought ice creams when there was such cases? Or what was it? Ringos, Wawaus.
Yeah, there are such cases.
So you will basically do it. You don't have any other way of showing forgiveness. But wait, when you're handling forgiveness with friends, do you buy them things to resolute things, or it's just word of mouth? Story Asia.
No, I think it actually depends. There are friends, I'll be led and I'm like, okay, let me get this Nini as an extra Nini for forgiveness, yeah.
What have you bought someone?
Muga, you are into my business, Sana. You are into my business, Sana.
But it's the cordial podcast. We're supposed to be cordial with each other. But anyway, you have ever bought somebody as like a gift for reconciling? Or it's just word of mouth affirmations?
I've not bought anything, guys. I'm trying to think about like an aspect where someone has wronged me, that we've had a conversation, we've sat down. Like there's not been an exchange of things. It's just been a conversation, and we're done. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to ponder more into your personal lives. So, we are going to move on to our next part, and it's more of understanding if forgiving yourself and forgiving others, which one is easier?
I think I find it easier to forgive others than forgiving myself. Yeah.
You kill yourself with doubts and all these things.
Yeah.
Okay.
I struggle a lot with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, don't think I've ever forgiven myself, guys.
You've never?
It's so easy for me to forgive other people.
Yeah.
And after I've forgiven someone and we've made peace, then I can now start forgiving myself. The journey to forgiving myself comes after there's actual like progress between me and the other person. Yeah.
I actually agree with that, because forgiving yourself, I think it comes with much more responsibility, because you're tasked with wanting to let go of the thing even after it has been resoluted, and then you're still asking yourself, or maybe I hurt this person to the extent where probably the resolution that we're having wasn't as real as I would want to. But I think that all comes from, doubting yourself when you're supposed to just let things go and not really focus more on what is not, like assuming things.
Like I feel like sometimes with my thinking, sometimes you start to think, okay, maybe I deserved it. Maybe I did something that was worthy of this punishment, or, just thoughts like that, basically. So yeah, it's harder to forgive. Like when for me, why it's easier to forgive why it's easier to forgive myself after the person is because I feel like in that moment when this person has apologized or we've had that conversation, it sets me free from this chain of I deserved it. It kind of like opens that door. You're like, okay, you're free. You didn't deserve it. They were wrong, and you made peace with that. Now, please forgive yourself and let go. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's an aspect that I've just thought of when it comes to, unfortunately, I'm good with these things. When it comes to relationships and when people, break up and all these things. Like for me personally, there are weeks when probably the heartbreak is fresh, and you start now questioning yourself and wondering, did I actually do things that was so bad that this person could not handle, and say like, I don't want this person in my life, and you always think of such things from a negative point of view, whereby now you start beating yourself and you're like, well, I'm not as good as I would have thought to be, and it becomes difficult. But yeah, I also agree that forgiving yourself takes time. It really takes time. It's not easy, but I think for me personally, it's from the grace of God that we actually take that grace and give ourselves the grace that we need to have in our own lives. Well, our next one. So Explore how forgiveness can contribute to societal healing and reconciliation. I think we talked about that when we were asking, we were dealing with the question of how we can cultivate a culture of forgiveness to that. I think discuss the potential for abuse and exploitation if forgiveness is misapplied.
I think that goes in line with the whole doormat conversation that we're talking about. Yeah, so I think for that, part 1, part 2, to make cover, I think, forgiveness should be accompanied very closely by strong boundaries. To also just make sure that certain things are not repeated. There's no disrespect. You're not a doormat essentially. And I know that even with the Bible, literally Jesus has said there are certain things that are not forgivable, there are certain things that are forgivable. And even when Jesus would heal people, he gave them a warning. Look that you do not sin no more. Or when you're set free from something, watch out. Because when I forgive you, it's when I forgive you of something, it's not to say that we'll never have conflict again. Maybe I love that Nadel gave us an example where me and you might have a situation where there's conflict, and then who knows, maybe in the next few years we'll have even bigger conflict. So I think it also comes with a sense of self-responsibility, in the sense of me as your friend. I have a responsibility to make sure that our friendship, there's peace in our friendship, there's love and there's joy in our friendship, and there's mutual respect in our friendship. Not always just to be living and expecting that people will forgive you, So you can't test someone's limit every single time. There also has to be a sense of self-responsibility. Mimi, kama rafiki ya Nadel, kama rafiki ya Mungai, what am I doing to ensure that there's peace in our relationship, there's peace in our friendship? So yeah.
Let me read it for you, Ndosi baby girl. We were talking about discuss the potential for abuse and exploitation if forgiveness is misapplied. Do you think there is potential? Like, no, even in your case, like when you say you don't want to forgive your children. Anyway,
No. I think based on the previous conversation that we have, if there's something like too forgiving or anything of that sort. So I think it just depends, because there's sometimes people are just there to test your patience. There are people who are like, hey, let me push the first button. Oh, I can exit to the other. Yeah. So I'm just trying to collect my thoughts. We also had this particular conversation in Mollie's podcast, and we were saying, like, if Christ has forgiven us all the million times, like, who are we to say? So
you also know the Bible verse that is promoting forgiveness, and you're here saying you cannot. You can. Maybe umenishtua, but anyway, I think to our last subtopic, forgiveness in a societal context. Explore how societal narratives and cultural norms can impact our ability to forgive. Madam Nadel, start us off because it is you who has an issue of letting go of that particular aspect of not forgiving your kids. I am on your case.
So what's the question?
The question is, do you think it can impact? Like, you're basically showing that by your answer, you're clearly telling us that it has impacted you, like societal norms and cultural norms that have been carried through with our parents. You want to continue with them.
Yeah, it does. I think how we get to react, how we get to behave is an effect of the environment that you are in. Like, it takes a lot to say, I want to detach from this particular aspect of the environment I've grown in. I know there's a particular culture, I won't mention what particular culture, where when you give birth to twins, you're either excommunicated or they get to kill
one. Both.
Yeah, both.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think there's some culture aspects that
impacted.
Impacted.
Okay. Mollie.
Oh Jesus.
What has Jesus done now? He's just teaching you forgiveness.
Naitisha wisdom. Nipe swali tena. Tunaitisha wisdom.
Explain how societal narratives and cultural norms can impact our ability to forgive.
Like I said, I think it's two sides to a coin.
Yeah.
There's so when you grow up in an environment where you're taught that there's like an excuse for bad behavior, anakuanga hivyo, you also internalize bad behavior and you start to say nakuanga hivyo.
Yeah.
You know, and then also just as Nadel said, like your environment shapes you. So I think it's also again self-responsibility and just look at the things that, because even if it's your environment, there are certain things that happen within your culture, within your workspace, within your friendships, that for you, they just rub you off the wrong way. So I feel like when you notice something like that, usitoroke, just look a little bit deeper to understand why am I feeling some type of way about this. And just, it's hard to break cycles, but it's possible to break cycles. It just takes one person saying enough.
Yeah.
And you create something new. So don't be, so if you're the only person in your family who has a forgiving heart, if you're the only person in your family who's, creating boundaries, if you're the only person in your family who's a Christian or all of these things, do not be afraid and do not back down simply because you're the only one. Out there, you'll find your people. And you slowly by slowly, today we've been taught power of repetition.
Yeah.
So slowly by slowly, you'll start to see these things materialize in the hearts and in the behaviors and the patterns of your family, your workspace and stuff like that. I was just telling Nadel that I started carrying my Bible to work and just reading it in public. And it's easier for me because a colleague of mine had been doing it for a year plus. So for her, when she started, they'd ask her questions like, uchakange kubeba Bible, da 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 da. But now when they see me with that Bible, it's not such a shock or anything. Like, it's already a culture that exists. So you might be the first person to do it, but trust you me, like, your kids will thank you for it. You'll also be grateful for it. Your parents will one day come back and thank you for it. So just don't give up, So yeah.
You've actually reminded me of how we've been taught of the power of repetition. Well, for context, ladies and gentlemen, but for context,
that's another episode we shall do.
Yeah, but to me, that was a personal lecture was being given. But continuing, I think that was our final part of it. And to my listeners, of course, it's good to reiterate the importance of forgiveness as a path towards healing and reconciliation. Now, I'm going to finish off with just one question, because this has been a 3-part, series of 3 different, podcasts actually handling one conversation, which, of course, personally, I would love to have other conversations like this. But my last question is, do you think you've learned something new on forgiveness, or do you think it has just been normal? Who should I start with?
You can start with
you. Oh. Yeah. No, since Jesus.
No, unaniangalia
jibu swali.
Okay, one thing that I learned, that aspect that Mollie had mentioned, that you can't forgive silently. I can say, I've forgiven Mungai. But if I've not come to you and tell you, Mungai, this is how I felt when you stepped on my jacket. Yeah. It wasn't right. I felt this type of way, but I have forgiven you. So I think I practice a lot silent forgiveness because it's the easiest. I have forgiven you.
It's your ego you're protecting. Yeah. Wow. Well, unfortunately, that happens a lot in
I learned. That's one thing that I learned.
Very nice. Mollie.
One. Lazima ikuwe moja.
No, you can do.
I've learned quite a few things, to be honest. I think for me, there's just one particular instance that for me, forgiveness inakuanga so hard with just one person. Yeah. And I don't know, I think for me, just speaking about forgiveness, okay, so backstory, guys. We sent out podcast outlines for the episode that we're supposed to do, but I did not send it. And one of the reasons I did not send it was because I'm like, there's someone somewhere I still haven't fully forgiven. Yeah. So it makes no sense for me to have this conversation. So I think a lot of the words that have been spoken today, a lot of the words that I've spoken today have been kind of like charging me to nudge me to continue pursuing this journey of forgiveness with this person, continue shedding the weight of that whole situation. So that was the greatest takeaway. Two, like Nadel said, forgiveness cannot be silent. I'm a silent forgiver, and after I've forgiven you, it's like I sit and wait for you to come back and soothe my ego. So I think it's also just another charge to just be confident, be bold, and to just express myself. Because like Nadel said, when you carry this burden of unforgiveness, you're the one who's carrying it. Yeah. If I do not forgive Mungai, I'm the one who's carrying it. Mungai ayuko. So yeah, what else? That the three of us can actually come together, make a plan.
Imagine.
Actually make it work. You guys, if you knew the sacrifice, if you knew where we were recording this episode, hey, what an combie. Podcasters with an idea and a microphone, there's nothing we can't do. So please, again, listen to part 1, 2, and 3 and continue supporting these guys. I love the podcast. I just love the friendship that we have, the relationship.
Sasa hiyo inafaa kuwa closing remarks na sijaitisha. Sasa wewe umekimbia mbio. But anyway, I think from my own perspective, I think the conversations that we've had all through today, and it's actually funny that we started this conversation last year when we were having Bible study and we mentioned forgiveness somewhere and people started rambling, you don't know forgiveness. Oh, forgiveness is not like that. Oh, I cannot take. But we are actually here and it's from a point of learning. Like we've had experiences all through that have culminated to this particular point. Well, Mollie has already mentioned of things we've gone through today to actually record this podcast or all the 3 episodes, and I'm like, ile joy imetupiga Nairobi. Kwanza, the only venue that we were used to was closed. And we were like, hey, jamani, it's toka kwa jua. But anyway, here we are, completely done with the 3 episodes. I'm really proud of you guys. Also me, proud of myself. Thank you very much. I hope to see you guys again if you're interested.
Yeah, we should definitely do this. This was fun.
Yeah. But now with video, it looks... But anyway, thank you guys for listening in. This has been the Cordial Podcast with me, your host, of course, Kang'ong'oi, and I'm really happy to have guests on my show. I usually love having conversations with beautiful people and also people who we have more conversations than just podcasting, all these things. So it has been a pleasure, guys. See you when you see me or when you listen to another episode. Bye.
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 I want to closing remarks.